Conformity is going along with the group, modeling your responses after what the group is doing exactly what the crowd, what everybody else is performing.
People today are generally considered more self-aware and sophisticated about the effects of social influence. But are they less subject to conformity?
An RCMP spokesman confirmed today that there is an ongoing investigation into money laundering by the Solar Temple cult. 53 cult members died in Quebec and Switzerland last week. Some may have committed suicide, but police think many were murdered. Radio-Canada has reported the cult was a front used to cover up money laundering and arms smuggling.
And for the first time, police are suggesting the other two people found here on Tuesday may also have been murdered. Investigators say the man and the woman were alive when the fire started, but may have been poisoned first.
They may have been drugged with the poison or tranquilizer we found. This is possible, but we have to wait for the results, that's for sure.
Police also showed off photos of the devices that started the fire here. This one didn't go off, explaining why part of the house didn't burn down. That part of the house belongs to Joseph DeMambro, the man police say is the mastermind behind the Order of the Solar Temple.
Was aware that the teaching form that has taught through you for so long is individuating itself into other forms to allow its action to reach to more of the world, more of the planet, more of what's going on.
There'll be a stimulus line over here on your left-hand side. And all you'll need to do is to pick which of these lines is the same as the stimulus line.
Then you have to watch out that the Lord of the physical world realm doesn't get into you and what you're thinking about to make it work better for somebody else. In other words, don't do what the angel of God isn't doing.
You probably haven't heard of the movement of spiritual inner awareness.
And if you're doing what the angel of God is doing, you've done enough.
Sexual harassment.
Because the angel of God is also doing enough too. Because he's selecting different people now to come forward out of the group.
And we'll go around in order. And all you need to do is state the number.
It's going to scare the hell out of you. And when it does, there won't be heaven left.
I was threatened, and the people that left before me they had death threats. There was all sorts of terrorism.
We'll start with subject number 1.
He's affectionately called JR, and apparently with the help of your tax dollars, he's built a multi-million-dollar tax-exempt empire around his claim to holiness.
Don't your followers pray to you?
When young men come into the movement who don't know anything about him, he often will use his position to just seduce them, literally.
When you have something that bothers you, do you ever notice who you want to see when something happens that's painful or disturbing? Who do you want to see? Come on, you know. Who do you cry out for? Mommy or your daddy, right? I want my mommy or daddy. Or mommy, mommy, mommy. Daddy, 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 right? JR, JR, JR.
What is your response? 2. Subject number 2.
This is Tony and Susan Alamo, coming to you from the Grand Ole Opry House in Nashville, Tennessee.
A former member of the Alamo Ministries is speaking out about what he saw during his time in church. He accuses the church leader of keeping him from his 3 children.
Praise the Lord.
You don't get anything on your own. You can't even work outside jobs. You have to work for the church. And everything you did make goes straight to the church. You don't keep anything.
Over the years, Alamo formed many businesses, from trucking companies to record labels, but none as visible as this clothing enterprise. You've probably seen these rhinestone-studded jackets, possibly on the backs of these celebrities. They've sold for up to $1,000.
You know, I love to hear Tony sing.
It's not according to me, that's according to the Bible. That means when a woman is able to conceive and have a child, she is an adult. She could be married, but we don't do that in our church. We never have.
Why would you be saying that then?
because it's Bible. I have a right to preach the gospel, don't I?
Thursday, an 18-year-old girl told jurors that Alamo married her when she was only 8 years old and began having sex with her a year later.
And the compound, you know, a lot of bad things can happen on a compound, right? It's just a born-again Christian church. Compound, brainwash, mind control, all this kind of garbage. And because I wear shades, Jim Jones.
A leader has to have goals. If you don't have goals, you're going to just accomplish the status quo. Numbers. Where are you going to be at seminar counts, your numbers at every seminar from here through the end of the year? What are you going to do as far as building your direct fulfillment counts, your auto ship counts? As you build numbers, that's the way you can measure your leadership, because leadership ends up being influence. And influence is how many numbers, how many people are following you and your goals.
Thousands of true believers gathered in celebration at arenas like this across the country, all convinced they've found the true path to success.
Hi Mark, today I'm very excited. I decided to join the life business. I'm going to become a better person and end the chaos by getting my time back and creating wealth. Since you are my brother, I wanted to share the opportunity as soon as I could.
This is the best opportunity that exists in the world, period, period, period. It's not second, it's not third, it's number one.
The promises are golden.
You can have your wonderful life, make millions and millions and millions of dollars, but it must start.
And dream they do.
Is this one of those pyramid schemes?
What do you mean?
To find out what Quickstar was up to, we took our hidden cameras to a recruitment meeting in New Jersey. First step, think positive.
So I don't put anything into my head that's going to cause me to be thinking outside my positive goal.
That means no TV, no reading newspaper. Second step, and perhaps the most important.
How are you making money?
The CDs from the life subscription have so much life-changing information on them.
Those books and tapes are going to cost us. But one of Frederick's associates says they hold the key to our success.
And I believe that's what a leader does.
A few $100s later, we find ourselves on a bus ride. A 14-hour bus ride from New Jersey to South Carolina. Something called Spring Leadership Weekend. To Fredericks and others, it's not just a business trip, it's a pilgrimage.
Lord, we ask you for a spirit of openness so that we might go down to Greenville, South Carolina. And Lord, that we might be changed. And in Jesus' mighty name, we say, let's have a great weekend.
At the arena in South Carolina, people have been sleeping outside like teenagers at a rock concert. 15,000 packed the arena, thrilled to a carefully choreographed show that promises money and everything that comes with it. We're urged by those successful Quickstar distributors on stage to dream big like they do. The excitement builds with each success story. This man says he once ran a car wash. His vision of financial freedom moves the crowd to a chant we hear over and over again. The speakers are treated like superstars, all living testaments to what happens when you follow the Quickstar plan.
So if you're going to be a performer on this team, go out and start failing.
So devoted are the followers, many in the crowd with us become sleep deprived, afraid to miss out on advice that will make them millionaires. Such devotion is hard to fathom.
This information is totally proven. It's not a theory in any way. It's been
highly successful in the marketplace.
It's demonstrated the ability to transform lives again.
On the
again,
first
and
two
again.
trials, the Confederates matched the stimulus line to the standard line, giving the right answer.
5, 2. Subject number 6, 2. Subject number 7, 2.
See just how far it goes on the last night of the weekend when a single candle is lit. Soon the dark arena becomes a tabernacle, a shrine to the Quick Star dream. For some, a solemn and tearful promise to their leader. But are the leaders keeping their promises to the faithful?
Almost every one of them are being victimized by people who prey on researchers for something that is being said online. In fact, most of the stores and major non-networking companies are being victimized by that too.
Anything you need to become successful, you have at your disposal. All you have to be willing to do for a nominal fee is to start purchasing the materials that will help you to build your business.
Why are the recruits told to listen to the tapes and read the books over and over and over again?
Because it creates a dependency and it creates a habit that keeps you bound to that business.
So the whole time I'm thinking how smart I am by avoiding being scammed by a networking opportunity. I'm actually being scammed by the internet site that I assumed was credible.
That is right. Your pride and judgmental attitude has allowed you to be deceived by someone who you don't know.
On the third trial and thereafter, the Confederates give the obviously incorrect response.
Subject 3. Subject 4. 1. Subject 5. 1. Subject 6. 2. Subject 7. 1. Subject 1. 2. Subject 2. 2.
As this subject hears the rest of the group give the wrong answer, he initially resists the influence of group pressure.
Subject 6. 1.
Mondale is not simply a KGB agent in the ordinary sense, of course. Mondale is jointly owned by the left wing of the Socialist International and the grain cartel interests.
Not only that, it has falsely affected your attitude about Kathy and me.
People tend to be drawn into it who did not want to be drawn into it, who did not want to join a cult or a sect or something like that.
Most subjects start out defying the group, but after repeated trials, many of them begin to conform.
2. Subject 4. 2. Subject 5. 2. Subject 6. 2. Subject 7.
2. If both these owners tell Mondale to lick the floor before a nationwide TV audience, I sincerely believe he would do just that.
Watch Lyndon LaRouche, Independent Democrat for President, Tuesday, October 23rd.
It was alleged that Jeremiah ran from Wiesbaden 5 kilometers outside the town to a spot on the road which is very near to the headquarters of the Lyndon LaRouche organization.
He was talking very quietly. He said that they were doing experiments on humans with computers. The way he spoke was very agitated. He couldn't string a sentence together properly. I asked him who was doing these experiments, and he said the government. He said that they were causing lots of pains to their arms and legs. I tried to find out where he was, but he wouldn't say.
The first thing you have to do is you have to think of the mind of our people.
Such was the psychological duress, including so-called psycho sessions, that Aglaya recalls how she and others fell apart at conferences.
I was freaked out, and I experienced that other people freaked out. I saw members who got out of their mind, suddenly one woman who suddenly painted only circles at the blackboard, yeah, and behaved like 2 years old.
Because it's not the flesh that determines production. It's the mind of people. If their minds don't work, they're going no place.
The German authorities ruled he committed suicide after he was hit by 2 cars. But new evidence from 2 independent forensic experts commissioned by the family claims Jeremiah was battered to death. Jeremiah was in Germany to attend what he thought was an anti-war conference. It was actually being run by a right-wing group.
There was a time, if you were worried about your son or daughter being in a cult, you could get help from a small non-profit organization called the Cult Awareness Network, or CAN. For 20 years, the nation's best-known resource for information and advice about groups it considered dangerous. Among them was Scientology. Today, CAN is under new management.
Hello, Cult Awareness Network.
Now when you call looking for information about a cult, chances are the person you're talking to is a Scientologist. Ashley's one, so is Bob. Everyone we met in the office was a Scientologist. Last year, a member of the church bought CAN's name, logo, and hotline number in bankruptcy court for $20,000. Cynthia Kisser says the church's final assault on CAN began when hundreds of Scientologists from around the country wrote virtually identical letters asking to become members of CAN. Included among them was this model letter with instructions to be put in your own words. Fearing, she says, the church was out to take control of CAN, Kisser denied their applications to join. CAN was then hit with a barrage of lawsuits by individual Scientologists claiming religious discrimination.
I got hit with 12 suits in 1 week. I would open the door, a process server would give me a suit. They were suing us all over the country, sometimes simultaneously.
In all, CAN was hit with more than 50 lawsuits. Even though most of the suits were eventually dropped or won by CAN, she says the cost of defending them, nearly $2 million, drove CAN to the brink of bankruptcy. Would you concede, Reverend Jensch, that at least part of the motivation for the lawsuits was to get CAN, was to silence them?
I would say that the individuals who were involved definitely wanted to do something about CAN. What are you going to do when they're trying to destroy you? Look, if you're a Jew, if you're a Jew, no Jew is going to cry about the fact that the Nazi Party is gone. If you're an African American, no one's going to cry that the KKK is gone. I'm not crying because CAN is gone.
What is your response? 1. Subject number 5. 1. Subject number 6. Your turn. 1.
Their voices may drop. They may know they're giving the wrong answers, but they eventually give in.
Hello,
And that's why when you visit CAN's new headquarters in Hollywood, you can find out about all the good things the church is doing.